Hello, Fighting Indian fans. Welcome back to Smoke Signals. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and athletic director Wayne Coleman. Fighting Indians finally getting on the field this week at Tomato Bowl against the Crandall Pirates. Coach, it's been a 2020. I mean, we don't have to talk about how crazy it's been, obviously, but very unusual circumstances, obviously, for high school football, for everything in society. Talk a little bit about what a weird spring it was, and then the summer, and how you got to this point.
Sure. Of course, it started in the spring, and all the sports got canceled. You know, some of the spring sports, baseball and softball and soccer and track, those guys all got canceled in the middle of their seasons, which that also ran into spring football, which normally you would have an opportunity to get your team ready. And it just continued through the summer, up and down, you know, everybody on edge trying to figure out, are we allowed to work out this week, not allowed to work out this week, all the way into the beginning of the school year. You know, we had the season pushed back a month by the UIL for the 5A and 6A schools. So it's really been, I guess the word is fluid.
Yeah.
Everything changing, and we're just trying to swim and keep up with it.
You know, a coach's dream and a team's dream is to be playing in December. Well, you got your wish. You're going to be playing in December now with the season pushed back a month. New district, the only change is you lost Lindale and you picked up Texas High.
Yeah, we lost a good program and we picked up a good program. Mm-hmm. So it was an even swap. They've got maybe a few more kids, maybe a little more size at Texas High, a little more speed. But Lindale's got a great team this year also. So it's going to be a competitive district.
Coach, let's talk about your team. I think something like, I figured up, over 75% of your offense graduated with those three receivers, but you've got some really good skill kids coming. It's going to be a mixture of senior leadership and your quarterback, Patrick Clater, of course, and you know Bryson Tatum's back, but you've got a mixture of a lot of young players as well. We do.
We've got some young kids on the varsity this year. But we've got a big senior class, some kids that have been in the program, 23, 24 seniors on this year's team. So there's some kids that have invested, some kids that have got a lot to look forward to their senior year, and I'm glad they're getting to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of those young men that contributed at the JV level. Then they're going to step up at the varsity level. I mean, in their 1 year, some of them are on there as juniors, and they're going to contribute.
Sure, and it's you know, that's what the program is about. That's why we have those sub-varsity programs, to get the kids ready, and it's their turn now, and they've got some big shoes to fill in some of our kids that played last year.
Let's talk about your numbers in this unusual time we're in. Where did you see a fall off in numbers of players coming back?
Actually, we've got a boom in numbers. Our freshman class is a really big class. We've got over 50 kids out there playing right now, which is our biggest class in years. And our sophomore class was a big class last year as freshmen. So those two classes back-to-back make up a pretty good size freshman and JV team for us.
So you may be able to split the freshmen and maybe have two teams, or you're just going to have the one team?
Yeah, we're going to try to play 2 games when we can with the freshmen. If nothing else, try to at least get some extra scrimmage time with some of the freshman kids.
Again, with the season backed up like it has been, y'all were in shorts for a while, and then you couldn't get into the helmets and the pads until later on. How has that process been, and just kind of keeping the kids engaged, because it gets to a point where you want to hit somebody, and finally you got to do that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It was a long haul for the kids, and we kind of erred on the side of overworking them. There were a lot of different ways you could have approached it. There were a lot of schools that during the summer, even though UIL allowed us to work them out 5 days a week, a lot of schools chose to just work them out 3 or 4 days a week. Especially once they found out that the football season got pushed back a month. We chose to go the other way. We wanted to get as much work in as we could, because we didn't want to take a chance on getting shut down at some point and then feeling like, boy, we wish we would have gotten some extra time in. So our kids have grinded and are really more prepared than they've ever been for the first game.
Well, they finally got a chance last week. You went down to Lufkin and met the Cleveland Indians, a Class 5A program toward the Houston area. Met them for a scrimmage, and Coach, I went and saw some really good things.
Yeah, we played really physical, which was good. There's that old saying in football, you want to be the hammer and not the nail. Mm-hmm. And our kids Our kids were definitely the hammer Thursday night. Our kids were very physical. We didn't execute some stuff on the offensive side, didn't complete some big passes that should have been touchdowns. But that's not my biggest concern. As a coach, you always want your team to be the most physical team, and we definitely were last week.
Well, you won the dead period with one score, and then you won the live quarters 13-7. All three of the scores were touchdown passes. I really was impressed with the running game, Coach. The offensive line blocked pretty well, and you have three pretty solid running backs.
Yeah, we do, and we've got Hinojosa and Tatum coming back from last year's team, and they carried the ball last year, and they're going to do a good job for us again this year. The passing game is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little more spread the field wide versus vertical this year, so that's going to hopefully open up some running lanes.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. You had new offensive coordinator, and he's kind of brought some different wrinkles to it. And as you said, last week there was about 4 or 5 touchdown passes, and the wind was blowing. And you got to get your timing down. But your passing game is going to add a few more wrinkles this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We've worked real hard on our short to intermediate game compared to the past. The last couple of years we've had some really good top end speed out wide, and we've taken advantage throwing the ball over the top. And we've had some success doing that. I think when you have that style of offense that we've had the last couple of years, that puts extra pressure on your defense because those big passes are hit and miss, and you can go out there and score in 1 or 2 plays, and the defense got to go back out. Or you can go out there and go 1, 2, 3 and out, and it puts the defense right back out there. We're looking to get a little more of a ball control passing game, and hopefully by doing that, by spreading the field sideline to sideline instead of end zone to end zone, we can create more running lanes inside.
Exactly, and I remember last year there was a lot of 2nd 11s and 2nd 13s and 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
And if you can get that down to 3rd and 2, a lot of those that will certainly make a difference in the game, and your defense as well, keeping them off the field.
Yeah, we want to help our defense by what we're doing on offense. We want it to be complementary football.
Defensively, were you pleased with how the defense performed last week? You talked about them hitting pretty good.
Yeah, we're very physical. We played against, I guess you call it the old single wing spinner back offense, yeah. And that's something, we don't spend any practice time preparing for a scrimmage. So they had some X's and O's that were a little different, yeah. But for the most part, our kids did a good job of handling it.
Well, let's talk about scheduling with this COVID thing and pushing the season back a month. And the smaller schools got to play. You lost Henderson and Palestine, but you replaced them with Cleburne and one of Jacksonville's old foes from the 90s, Nederland, who you're familiar with. Crandall's coming to town. That was originally scheduled, so they still get to keep that on the schedule. Talk about the Crandall Pirates. This is a new 5A program. They went 3 deep, I believe, last year in Class 4A.
Yeah, they had a lot of success last year in 4A, and their numbers, their enrollment pushed them up to 5A Division II with us. So it's going to be a challenge. They're very talented. Their quarterback's athletic. They've got athletic receivers. Their new coach comes in from, I think he was the OC at McKinney North, and he did a good job over there. So they're going to be very explosive on the offensive side of the football. We're not sure what they're going to bring to the table on defense. We don't know what coaching changes they've made there. So it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game for us there.
And then the following week, and by the way, I know the Fighting Indian fans are very pleased with the job you did. You got 6 home games at Tomato Bowl this year, so you were able to gather one, and that one of those games is Nederland. It's going to be on a Saturday at 2 o'clock, so a little bit of a scheduling change there. Interesting how that came together, Coach, when everybody saw how the UIL was going to split the seasons and how you guys were scrambling. Talk about how that worked out.
Yeah, it kind of turned into a mad scramble whenever the UIL announced that the 5A and 6A were going to start a month later. Well, that meant all of the 5A games that were scheduled with 4A teams all across the state all ended up getting canceled in the first 3 weeks. And so you had all these teams across the state scrambling to find games, and we were kind of in the catbird seat from the standpoint of when I realized everybody started calling, it was like, I'm not going to make any decisions right now until I get the exact things we want. And what we wanted people to travel to the Tomato Bowl, and we wanted to play at home. And so we were able to get that against some quality opponents, some really good programs. and it's going to be an exciting non-district schedule.
Yeah, last year Tomato Bowl had 4 playoff games in its first year, so a lot of people want to come to Jacksonville and experience the new Tomato Bowl, if you will. So back to the Crandall Pirates. Talk about what they do offensively and how your defense is going to have to contend with them. You mentioned the athletic quarterback.
Sure, they're very similar to us offensively. They'll go 4 wide or they'll go 3 wide with a H-back in the backfield. So very similar to us on offense. They like to play up-tempo. They're going to play the game really fast, try to tire your defense out. It's very important that we win on first down defensively, and we've got to contain their quarterback.
Yeah, is he a scatter quarterback? Yeah, he just kind of gets around like the Pine Tree quarterback.
Yeah, very athletic kid. We just got to keep him from getting out of the pocket.
So talk about your offense. What will you do? I mean, I know what you're going to do, but tell our fans kind of what you're going to do against Crandall. And do you show this much in these non-district games?
Yeah, we have to. With the new stuff that we've put in, we've got to try to, get into a rhythm and get good at our offense. You can't really afford to hide stuff. And to be honest with you, we're not taking any game for granted. We're not assuming that we're going to get to play 10 games this year. We're going to try to play every game like it's the last game, and you have to approach it that way. There are no guarantees.
Yeah. A lot of schools going through that, cancel games, and then you come back and you got to sit for 14 days, and hopefully that will happen. Coach, from a team standpoint, the Fighting Indians, this is your 6th year in Jacksonville. They come to Tomato Bowl Friday night. What are they going to see different about your offense when they come in and watch the game? Anything?
Yeah, well, a couple things. They might actually see us line up in a huddle. We're going to be a little more, I would say, pro-style looking. There will be times where we want to go into the huddle and call our plays, give our quarterback a chance to communicate with our kids in the huddle. There will be times where we go up tempo. We've been no huddle for the last 5 years, but we haven't really been up tempo no huddle. So we're trying to mix it up so that it's a little more difficult on the defensive side of the ball to prepare for what we're doing. And then we've got, the new faces. You're going to recognize some of the old schemes that we use, and then you're going to see some things like I've never seen them do that. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a mix of the old and the new, and I think it's going to give our kids a little better opportunity for success.
Just about every level, high school, college, pro, the quarterback position is the key. And you have a good one in Patrick Clater coming back. Started all 10 games last year as a junior. Really has gotten bigger and stronger. I know you're excited about having him back and some of the young receivers, but that running game, adding that, I know is going to be exciting as well.
It is, and we purposefully didn't run Patrick very much last year. We didn't want to get him hurt. We didn't have a lot of depth at the quarterback position. We've got a little more depth this year at that position, so we're not going to be afraid to run him. He has gotten bigger and stronger and faster, and those are all great qualities. The number one quality with Patrick, though, is just a great person, great human being, great student, straight A student. He's a great leader for our football team.
Coach, talk about the keys to the game for Jacksonville to get the win against Crandall.
It's so cliche, but if you watch the Cowboys game, turnovers, take care of the football, and make the other team beat you. We tell the kids all the time, more games are lost than won. People usually find a way to lose games, and we watched a high school game Friday night where one team turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, and they were down 21, and then the second half, the other team turned it right back over, and it's just turned into a early season. Turnovers are huge, and the thing that people don't want to talk about, kicking game.
Yeah.
Don't lose the kicking game. Make sure that you're fundamentally sound there.
And you have an interesting situation. I mean, you having to replace people in your kicking game. You had a 3-year starter at punter, graduated.
Yeah,
so.
We've got to replace our punter and our kicker. So we've got some work to do there.
Yeah. Well, it's Jacksonville versus Crandall, 7:30 kickoff Friday night at Tomato Bowl. We'll be on the air at 6:45 on JHS-sports.com. And if Fighting Indian fans don't forget, you can watch the games this year besides just hearing the audio, but you'll be able to live stream it. We hope you tune in. And don't forget you can catch the games on JHS-sports.com on our YouTube channel. So just search for it, JHS-sports.com. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.